good day, all. Welcome to the show. Mike in the hole. Here. Hi, Ames. How are we feeling?
Shitty, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm feeling shitty. Like, not good at all. And I've been up since 2 a.m. Which is no fun. And I realized I was like responding to people's stupid Twitter posts at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you need to just, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe do something else.
Yeah. I did last night. I tweeted a couple things and then I looked down and I realized it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was like, most people that know me or give a shit are probably in Michigan. They're looking at this going, dude, you're up at 2, 3 in the morning doing that. Like,
yeah.
And it was like, no, it's the last thing. I was laying in bed and was just like, oh you mother quote, retweet, I can't help it.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I am good to go. I'm doing the laundry because I got a flight in the morning.
Yeah, you sure do, Mike.
Getting out of here.
What time is your flight?
I don't know. I'm checked in. It's in the afternoon actually. So, but I got to leave a couple hours before that, 3 hours before that. Take me an hour to get there. How early do you get to the airport? Are you one of those super early people?
No. It depends on the airport. Kind of depends where I'm going and who I'm traveling with. But if it's just me traveling, I get there like maybe I get there an hour early, and that's super generous. Because I have TSA pre-check. It depends if I'm checking a bag and stuff too. But I tend to, because I'm all about convenience. I will pay for convenience every single day, every single moment that I can. So,
it's the only reason to work.
100%. So, like I skip the waiting in line and I just check my bag in outside and I give the guys $10.
Totally.
And they throw they throw like a preferred thing on there.
Yeah. Yep.
There's never anybody out there. So I do that. And then I have TSA pre-check. I have clear, but I haven't been going in the clear line because it's bullshit. And
why do you say that? Because I have clear. I don't have TSA.
Oh, TSA is way better in my opinion. Because clear, there's something going on with mine. I don't know. I've probably been flagged by the government, but something's going on with mine where every time I go, I have to show an additional form of an ID, and it defeats the whole purpose. Like every single time I go through clear, I have to show my ID, which I'm like, that's the whole reason I have clear.
I always have to show my ID, even though they have my eyes. I can't believe I signed up for something like that, but whatever.
But, TSA pre, you don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your computer out, which, if I'm traveling for work, I'm always have my computer. And it's generally faster, although I will tell you, nothing will send me into a rage quicker than someone who has never traveled before in the TSA pre-check line. Get the fuck out of my way, like meandering all around. You should only be allowed in TSA pre-check if you should have to have travel a minimum amount to be able to have TSA pre-check.
To know what you're doing.
Yeah, because it slows everybody down. You're like fucking around, taking your shoes off, and they're like, you don't have to take your shoes off. And, meanwhile, you're just rotting there like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, you're me, basically. We are the same person. That's what we figured out. We're the same exact person.
Literally.
If I have $100 in my existence, and it requires $10 to make my life similar right now, like, okay, 1/10 of my net worth is 100%. Going to that. Like,
100%.
And I was like that when when I was 13, and I'm like that now. It is what it is. That's so funny. Yeah. In Dallas, I've noticed it because they're so close to the border. I guess Arizona is too, but Dallas, I've really noticed it where it's like all of a sudden I was waiting and I couldn't do curbside for American Airlines, which blows. I'm so glad to be flying Delta tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Delta is my jam, just like yours. But I couldn't do curbside. So it's like, okay, I got to go to the computer thing. And the black women that are always around there are super, super helpful.
Yeah.
When it's like, how does this thing work? Talk about helpful people. They're always the same person, and they are super helpful.
Compared to the people who work inside, it's like a complete difference, complete 180.
Yeah. If they turned around and went, dude, I make 25 cents an hour, so fuck off. I'd be like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they are the rudest assholes. They act like, it's like, I don't even want to be having this discussion. So if it's like, hey, what's up? It's like, what did your dumbass fuck up now? It's just like, oh, just go away. Like, I'm the problem. Shut up. I try to avoid, like, if I could be invisible, I would. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to look at you.
Totally.
And that goes for everybody in my orbit. But I found this twice now, both times at Dallas Airport, where it's like, so now I've got to stand in their stupid line, and it's usually only 2 people deep, but it doesn't matter. There's one Indian family there that's going to blow the whole goddamn thing up. And it's like, all of a sudden there's 14 Rugrats, some dot on a forehead, and some dude in sandals. And they're ripping everything out of their bags. They're going through it. They're pulling spices out and 300 fucking. It's like, where did this come from? That one lady, I almost missed my flight to Dallas. 45 minutes standing there. Well, they went item by item, unwrapping individual boxes. None of it in English. Food.
Oh,
someone was bringing an entire grocery store of shit from the side of the road in goddamn. Who knows where in the world?
Fruits and veggies?
Like boxes of rice and boxes of seasonings that they were bringing home or whatever. And they were all individually wrapped in the half a cent bags you get at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And so they had to go through each one to make sure there wasn't a bomb making kit. And we're all just standing there. I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. What fucking country am I in? Unbelievable. So I'm like you, and I'm just like, oh, take your time. Slow down.
By all means, move at a glacial motherfucking pace.
Yeah, this isn't going to make whatever apartment complex you're going to smell like shit for the next year. By all means, take your time. Everyone loves this.
Mike, bringing in some local flair to the news that's happening, and coming off of an airport story. Have you seen the different Chinese national that I talked about yesterday that was accused of voting now, right? And fled? Yeah, this one is a Chinese national tried smuggling a pathogen through Detroit Metro Airport, feds say. It says 2 Chinese nationals have been charged in connection with attempting to smuggle a dangerous pathogen into the U.S. The couple were associated with the University of Michigan and allegedly wanted to conduct research on the pathogen at one of the school's labs. The pathogen, identified as Fusarium graminearum, causes symptoms known as head blight.
Head blight?
Yeah, I don't know what that. 2 Chinese, and it says in connection with it's a form of fungus that is classified as a potential agro-terrorism weapon.
So they're stepping up their fentanyl game. Their fentanyl game's getting fucked with a little bit. So they're trying to kill Americans different routes. So go through the University Avenue. Is that the game here?
Yeah, I guess.
It's unbelievable, man.
Do you want to try pronouncing these names, Mike, right here?
Sure. Let's see. It's Yung King Jin and Zheng Ying Hu. We're charged with conspiracy. Yeah, of course. She looks sweet.
Yeah, look at her posing with those nice flowers.
Oh, nice bouquet. Sure.
According to the complaint, funded by the Chinese government to work on the pathogen.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
And then lied about it. Sure. Yeah. This leads nowhere good. Yeah, and
that's
just before
seriously, that's like what scares me the most is like a couple things. Like the I think we saw it on a lesser scale with COVID. You still might not be able to convince me that wasn't like a bioterror attack on a minor scale. I think that's more than likely.
Yeah.
But that scares me, that type of thing. It might stem from me watching 24 back in the day. I have this like maybe irrational fear of bioterrorism, like weapons or like that sort of thing, or just like a gas being released. And, then you're just like everyone's paralyzed, like fucking stone, but your eyes are moving around and you can still like see everything that's going on,
Yeah. I think
or
there's real
attacking the
concern
power
for
grid.
that.
Those are my two.
Yeah, the power grid's my big one. We're seeing, I was just infuriated before we started. Like breaking news now, some judge in Colorado has temporarily blocked the administration from deporting the wife and 5 children of the Boulder firebomb suspect. What's that?
I said, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah. This is just it's unbelievable. Like this is the whole point of this, and I immediately go back and think of Chuck Shitbag there, like gleefully bragging how, well, don't worry, everybody, on that MSNBC show. Yeah, we rammed through 290 progressive judges. Like, what does that even mean? Like, to me, you want a judge that is just calling balls and strikes. That's their job. Right. I've never liked this idea of like, oh, he's a conservative justice. Oh, it's a liberal justice. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're supposed to, this isn't what they feel or how the wind's blowing today.
Yeah. The law is supposed to be applied equally. Like, that's kind of the whole point, justice is blind.
And maybe we've been in fantasy land thinking that was going on, but Chuck Schumer, like, don't worry, everybody. We just, I'll paraphrase, rammed through 290 progressive judges to roadblock the Trump. So basically, the mandate the country voted on, his stance for that was like, don't worry, we've got people that can basically just clog this up, and that's what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
So Mohammed Solomon, injured 12, tried to murder him, let's be honest, at a demonstration honoring the October 7 victims still being held hostage. Apparently, these people have been congregating every Sunday. Was it Sunday that this happened? Once a week, they've been going here and quietly, just like remembering, and so this guy knew I can go there and take out the most Jews possible. Like that was his plan over a year, thinking about this. People are like, oh, he couldn't get a firearm. He wanted a firearm, but couldn't get one. I don't buy that bullshit story either. Like as if now he's worried about following the law,
right?
No, just can't get one.
The terrorist, breaking the law to get a gun was just one step too far.
Yeah. So he had to come up with an ingenious way to, create and build his own flamethrower to try to murder these Jews because he just couldn't get a gun. With it being illegal for him.
God bless him. Okay. And not the God that he prays to, whatever God he doesn't pray to, God bless him, because he probably saved their lives by doing that, because had he had a gun, it would have just been open season on him. It sounds like they would probably all be dead. I mean, I don't know what their quality of life's going to be. I don't know what extent they have burns on their bodies, but, I reckon they're all probably happy. He didn't kill anybody, right? They all survived.
They've charged him with 16 counts of attempted murder. I thought a couple days ago they had charged him with first-degree murder on one of those, but I haven't heard anything since. So that would lead you to believe that one of them died. But I don't know. One of them was an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. If you're wondering anything about this guy. So these stories are just hilarious. His family, just like shooken out of nowhere and rounded up by ICE and all this stuff. The promising young student, one of his daughters, had won awards in school and dreamed of studying medicine, revealing in an essay that her life in the United States since arriving from Kuwait had fundamentally changed her. But she was arrested alongside her 4 siblings and her mom in the aftermath of the alleged terror attack, as Trump's administration is seeking expedited removal, which allows them to just get him the fuck out of here. Well, you know what? Mom and 4 daughters, you shouldn't have married an extremist terrorist. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and like I said yesterday, it's a privilege for you to be here. You don't have a right to be here. You're here on like an invite, and you kind of have to be on your best behavior. And your dad and or husband committing a terror attack is not on your best behavior. So sorry.
And I know people want to muddy the waters because they're throwing stuff like due process, and they do that in all these cases. And yes, if this was an American citizen,
exactly.
Yeah, like listen to some of these things. So the family earned a temporary reprieve when Biden appointed District Judge Gordon Gallagher said deporting them without adequate process would cause irreparable harm. Yeah, fuck off, dude. The court finds that deportation without process could work irreparable harm, and an order must issue without notice due to the urgency this situation presents. Lawyers representing the family sued the government, seeking to win the family members' release from custody to block their deportation. Their lawsuit said that Chaim, the wife, was shocked, absolutely shocked, to learn that her husband was arrested for having committed a violent act against a peaceful gathering of individuals commemorating Israeli hostages. It is patently unlawful to punish individuals for the crimes of their relatives. Yeah, fuck off. Invited guests, just like Amy said. Bye. That's the rules and the laws for the U.S. citizens. And sorry, that's just the way it goes. You wanna get cute with how that works as an invited guest. No, sorry.
Yeah. We don't want to separate the family.
We don't. Together, absolutely. You know? Yes.
That's important.
I understand that that's North Korean in nature. Like, you'll be born in prison and die in prison because of the sins of someone. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. But you know what? We don't have to play this game like as in you're invited here, you've been welcomed into this country, and then your husband decides to go, build a flamethrower, scream free Palestine while he just torches a bunch of senior citizen Jews in America because of his beliefs. Your whole fucking nut job family there can all go. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what, if they have radical beliefs. Like, why take the chance? Why take the chance?
Yeah. No, I'm not willing to.
For what? For fucking what? Like, again, if they were citizens, in my mind, that would be a completely different story. Yes, they're entitled to due process.
Yes.
But this is kind of a no-brainer to me. And if you're allowed to judge shop, it seems like defendants should be able to judge shop. Like, if I'm ever in a situation where I'm in front of a judge, I want to know how they voted. Like, did you fucking vote for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Because if you did, I don't think I want you overseeing my case, because we don't have the same beliefs.
You could ask for a change of venue if you were in Manhattan District Court, if you were in DC Circuit Court. And then it takes years and financial ruin before you end up getting your name cleared eventually, which will happen with Trump. The whole point of is dipshits being able to go, you voted for a convicted felon, 34. Right. Like, that was the whole point.
Yeah,
we said it at the time.
Sully his name.
Yes, exactly.
This is the whole point behind Turtle Boy.
Yeah, is he doing that? Yeah.
No, we talked about that.
Yeah, I don't like at all these things being weaponized against political foe. I mean, it's just outrageous. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that going on in this country. That based on it's like, okay, I got arrested for speeding. I got arrested for whatever. Okay, I go to court and a judge. Yeah. I can expect what most people get, this sort of fine, maybe this level of community service, whatever. Not like, who did you vote for? What have you said on social media? Like, no.
Yeah.
No. And I don't know, man.
I would also want to know how all the members of my jury voted. Which I'm probably not allowed to ask, but I don't want any fucking liberals on my jury. Okay?
No. It sounds crazy. And I would have never thought that 5 years ago. Wouldn't have even crossed my mind.
Well, yeah, because they're all like, yay, government.
Yeah. Such methods of collective or family punishment violates the very foundations of a democratic justice system. Yeah, it does for U.S. citizens and residents. Sorry. It does not apply to Kuwaiti guests in our country causing trouble. Sorry. That's how I feel. Call me a monster. Daughter Habibi had shared intimate details of the family's struggles. What's that?
Ha Habibi.
Yeah,
that's what the Chaldeans used to say in high school. Ha Habibi.
Oh, is that what it was?
I feel like Habibi is baby.
Oh, okay.
Habibi.
I don't care. I'm not interested in even learning that at this point.
Yeah, my love or beloved.
Yeah. See, here I'll just say my love or my beloved.
Habibi.
So she wrote an article for the Denver Gazette. I learned to adapt to new things, even if it was hard. In the years since the family settled in Colorado, Habibi organized events to build school spirit by starting an Arabic club.
Oh,
yay. Yeah. Maybe you can carry that back over to Kuwait. Start an American club there. Cool. See how that goes for you. She explained when she was younger, her father underwent a difficult surgery that restored his ability to walk. The high school senior said she considered the procedure nothing short of magic and realized then she wanted a career in medicine. Great. We'd all be better off, by the way, if he was still wheelchair bound, if he was hot wheeling around Denver. Yeah. Maybe you'd still be able to go to school in Colorado.
Yeah.
Instead of finishing your senior year in Kuwait.
Yeah, here's your choice. We freeze all of your bank accounts and because you have assets that are associated with, a terrorist, and we're going to freeze everything. We're going to take everything, and you're going to be homeless on the street. That you could do that, or you can go. Those are your two choices. Because, we don't know where your money has come from.
I think what
it's connected to.
Dude, you just go.
Yeah,
sorry,
but I'm just saying. I think
you're
it's more
living
humane
in a radical extremist
be
house.
Like, bye.
Like the extent of the extremism going on in that house, building flamethrowers, planning for a year, like there would be test runs. The idea that no one in the family had any idea. I don't give a shit what their family claims.
Yeah, like I would know if Rocky was building flamethrowers. Yeah,
right.
I just would.
Or walking around the house
because I'm not retarded.
If Rocky was rumbling around the house every 5 minutes going, fucking Jews, they should all die. Like,
where's my flamethrower?
You think he was just sitting there going to your fucking palm routine and just clapping along and then went off the deep end and flamed through a bunch of Jews in America?
Right.
No.
Right.
He's very proud of his actions. So no.
Yeah, it didn't just come out of nowhere.
We are also investigating to what extent his family knew about this horrific attack, if they had knowledge of it or if they provided any support to it. Up to them to provide proof. In fact, no, forget it. I don't even care. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
The time to do that was before it happened.
Yeah.
To the extent you had any knowledge, it was, as Cliff says here, if she would have ratted him out beforehand, I'd be okay with her staying. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
if you had knowledge of it, yeah, you should. Too late.
The other thing is, like, he entered the U.S. in 2022, was allowed to stay through 23 on an immigrant visa, but then he just never left. So he said, oh, you have laws in America? Yeah, I don't care about those. Yeah, I don't give a shit about.
I'm not getting a gun illegally, though. That is
that's a bridge.
I do care about that law.
He was granted a tourist visa by Shock, the Biden admin. And then he illegally overstayed that visa. In response, they gave him a work permit, the administration.
How'd the family get here?
Yeah, right. Brought them all over. And I don't listen to these like heartstrings people too. The neighbor, you always hear this, like some asshole goes nutty and the family never knew anything. And they just can't believe it. The neighbor, Rachel, went to the city's only mosque with Solomon's wife. And although she had not met Muhammad, she told the New York Times she just couldn't believe that the alleged attacker came from the family. I can't believe he was part of that. You don't raise a daughter like that and have a wife like that and do something like that. You want to bet, Rachel? Because that's exactly what happened, dipshit, know-it-all neighbor Rachel. So you can go hang out at the mosque without the entire family as far as I'm concerned. And it's no shock that when we're talking about mass deportations, presented with this problem that we have, even the terrorists, even the gang members are fought tooth and nail. You'd think if they were smart, they'd just go, let's let this one go. We're not going to take the headlines and the beating that comes with standing on this one.
Right.
Like the judge, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah.
But whatever. Unreal. So we'll see how that goes. And again, this is just meant to muddy the waters. And I honestly feel like, hey, no one in this administration created this issue we're dealing with. None of them. They're stuck dealing with it. I am firmly convinced that their belief was, hey, just get them in the country, overwhelm the process, and then what are they going to do? Nothing. There's nothing they can do.
Right.
And that was good enough. And so, yeah, it's going to come with, some terrorism, and it's going to come with, it's going to have some drawbacks, but we'll deal with that. But the reality is, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
We'll bring in more than the ones that, commit terrorist attacks. So it'll be a net positive in terms of voters.
Yeah. It's like an AI response with no feeling, no care, no concern. We've seen it, when it's like, yeah, just throw 15,000. Just dump them in some poor ass area in Ohio. Who cares? What are they going to do? They can't get the word out that their social services meant for their citizens are overwhelmed and crippled because of this. They can't possibly teach kids with 16 different languages dumped into their fucking community. They don't, their social services, their hospitals, their police force, their fire departments, they can't handle that.
Right.
So it just clogs up the whole thing. So they've already shown they don't give a shit about these people. It's unreal.
They sure don't. They sure don't.
The other story that I found interesting today is former press secretary Karine Jean.
I can't even believe this.
I can't.
I can't even fucking believe this.
She's now penned a tell-all book taking on political rivals and revealed she's leaving the Democratic Party.
Like, fuck all the way off. Fuck you.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I know it's hard for people to comprehend, it's gay, black, and female. Basically perfection.
Oh my
so
God.
You've got to expect that she's the greatest thing that ever lived. So her new book titled Independent, a PR release describes its substance as a look inside a broken White House.
Really? Really? Mm-hmm. Because you said that he was running circles around you. Karine, Jean-Pierre. So what the fuck does that mean?
She spent years defending this guy about his age, health, mental fitness. I don't know what she's doing. I sort of get the feeling that this book is still going to bat for him. In a country obsessed with blind loyalty to a two-party democratic system, shares why Americans must step beyond party lines to embrace life as an independent.
What does that even mean? And you're not an independent.
She's as radical an asshole as I've ever seen.
Correct.
What do you mean? You want to call out for people? You're saying the problem is, and I agree, is radicals no matter what Biden did, she went full-throated defense of.
I want Karine Jean-Pierre to tell me what Republican she would vote for aside from Kim Cheney and
Adam Kinzinger.
Yeah, that other idiot.
Mitt Romney, perhaps.
Right. I don't know.
It's a joke.
Tell me who you would fucking vote for.
Yeah, that person doesn't exist.
If you're voting 100% of the time with one party, you are not an independent.
No.
You're just not.
Who would buy that anyways? So Jean-Pierre didn't make her come to her decision to be an independent lightly. She, after working in the Biden administration, was a political director for Obama and then also worked at Move On before that, moveon.org.
Mm-hmm.
She takes us through the 3 weeks that led to Biden's abandoning his bid for a second term and the betrayal by the Democratic Party that led to his decision. It calls it a hard-hitting yet hopeful critique. It goes on sale in October. She referenced some of the scores she plans to settle during an interview in February at the Institute of Politics at Harvard. She said the toughest thing to see was a firing squad during the weeks after Biden's debate when a series of party stalwarts pushed him to get out of the race, arguing he couldn't defeat Donald Trump with his lousy approval ratings. I'd never seen anything like it before. You know what? Neither had we.
Yeah, right.
None of us had ever seen anything like it, Karine.
Yeah.
I don't think for the same reasons you say that.
Yeah.
I had never seen a party do that in the way they did, and it was hurtful and sad to see that happening. A firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot.
You see, that's kind of what Jake Tapper and Alex, I can't remember, Thompson have been saying, is that if you dare criticize Joe Biden, you were accused of being disloyal. Mm-hmm. You were excommunicated from the inner group. And that was just what it is. And it seems like she's doing the same fucking bullshit. Like, they were disloyal. He was a patriot. Well, you know what? No, if they've done one minuscule good thing in their life, it's the fact that they stuck up to Joe Biden and said, you're not fucking running. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only good thing that any of those clowns have ever done in their life.
And let's be clear, the only reason they came to that decision was they were looking at the metrics going, we don't even think we can get this guy over the finish line.
They couldn't even gaslight themselves.
What is he going to do to help the American people? Why is he the best choice to lead going forward? Strictly, 100%, it doesn't look like he can beat this.
Yeah.
Like this is a fucking game to these people. It's embarrassing. It's
crazy. It's crazy how, you know, you portray this whole facade to everybody, day in and day out, and you're the biggest see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
To anybody that doesn't
gaslighter
think like you. Yeah, total gaslighter.
As bad as it gets.
100%. I mean, she says so much bullshit, and to now just be like, yeah, I knew all that. And now I'm an independent, and everything I was pretty much saying was bullshit. Is like,
so that's what I don't know about her book, though. Is that what she's saying? Like, yeah, Biden was a sack of shit. We all knew it. Here's my version of what happened. Or is she saying like, I can't believe everyone turned on him. He was awesome. Like, it doesn't say exactly, and we'll learn more as time goes on.
Well, if she thought he was awesome, why would she be leaving the Democratic Party? Because they turned on him? That's why?
Good question. None of it makes sense. I look at her as like the definition of a DEI hire. When people talk about DEI hires, Karine Jean-Pierre, you look at who was Kayleigh McEnany, who was just a bad. Good luck finding a better press secretary than her. You might hate everything, but that girl, Harvard educated, right? Probably got a degree from Harvard before they went full fucking retard. Yeah. That girl, there was no such thing as a binder. Like looking at Karine Jean-Pierre and you go, oh, lesbian, black, all the things, checked all the boxes. That is how, if you wanted to see, like, if I was going to be press secretary for someone, that's how I would look. Yeah. I would have a giant binder of cheat sheets telling me like, oh, what do I say when someone asks this legitimate question? Right. Someone has crafted a lie for me over here. And I just say word for word verbatim. Where is it on this page? That's what she was. Absolutely no business, no grasp of that job, and could eloquently pull it off. It was a joke. And we all had to sit there and go like, yeah, this is normal. This is reasonable, how these people act, instead of just holding court up there. And I understand there's a massive difference between interpretation, spin, and lies.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like right. I expect someone from a Democrat president, whether it's Obama or whatever, to go, to try to put as happy a spin on something as they can. Like you can. There are two sides to everything, and you go, yeah, we're focused on this, and let them attack you how they're going to attack you. But this woman was just a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
It wasn't interpreted. We interpret it this way. We see it this way. That's not what it was. It was just like, no, he's running circles around everyone out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to lie about where he is, what he's doing, what happened when he said that. Like, I just don't understand it.
Peter, the border is not open, Peter. You know that. I know that. Everyone in this room knows that. The border is not open. It's as secure as it's ever been. And you are just providing fake news and you're trying to gaslight everybody. The border is closed. Okay, Peter, next. Like, that was the bullshit.
Joe Biden was sick. He had jet lag. He had a cold. He had COVID. He was on vacation. Like, and now we've got other books that are going
around her.
Yeah, we've got other books that have come out now, Kareen, and said point by point. The more you listen to Jake's book, if you were aware of what was going on, like we were hyper aware of it because we were doing this, we knew that it was bullshit, but they wouldn't own up to it. That book talks to 200 members on the inside of that administration and went, yeah, that was bullshit. When they said, oh yeah, he got COVID, he couldn't handle because it was deep fake. That was a new one she invented at one point, for fake news. All of that kind of stuff was meant to deceive you, the American public. That's what it was. So for her to come out and write a book now, holy.
Yeah, I was listening to
prison, man.
Megyn Kelly talk about it, and I think she addresses something about like there was a guy who would sometimes do the press conferences. I can't think of what his name is at the time, but
during Biden's admin.
Yeah.
Skinny.
I would know it. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
But
John something.
I guess the administration wanted him to do more of the press briefings, and Karine Jean-Pierre really pushed back against that, and she was pretty territorial about it. So Megyn Kelly, it was kind of insinuating that was going to be in the book, but it's just such bullshit. It's just such bullshit.
His problem, the big problem they had with him was he was white, he was male, and he was cisgendered.
Right.
So that was what do you do? It's the same thing they ran into with Kamala. Same exact thing. Like, what do you do? We know she's a retard, but
but she checks all the boxes.
She checks enough boxes.
John Kirby, thank you, John Kirby.
Yeah. Insane.
Okay, I will say one thing positive about Karine Jean-Pierre because this shocked me. She's hot. 50.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Black don't crack, man. Black don't crack.
This is what I'm saying. Ow.
Yeah.
Oh, my back just cracked though. Oh God.
I see white cracks a lot. Look at you.
Mike, before we started, my mom called me and she said, you tell your little friend.
Vicky.
You tell your little friend that you do that show with that I am not crazy.
Oh, but you are. Just a little bit.
I said, "Are you crazy?"
Did I? I don't think I called her crazy.
She was like, he did. You tell him that. I said, oh, I'm going to tell him. And I'm going to tell him that
misguided.
You said my little friend.
Yeah. And there's nothing little about me. Okay.
And then she texted me afterwards and she goes, don't tell him I said my little friend. I said, oh, I'm telling him.
Yeah.
I'm telling him. And he's going to think it's hilarious.
She did. Yeah. It is kind of hilarious.
You tell
no,
your
you're
little
not
friend.
Crazy. Disillusioned, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe ill-informed. I'd love to know what her resources are. I'd love to know where she's getting her information.
His name's Dave, and it's her husband.
Okay.
And he's my stepfather, and he's a great man, but he is...
Sounds like a douche, but okay.
An insane liberal, and he watches CNN 24/7.
Yeah.
So that's where my mom gets her news from. Other than that, my mom's like pop culture and whatever. And she
sounds fun. Your mom sounds fun. I bet she is fun.
She's a great time. Yeah, of course she is. She's great. But I was talking to her and she's like, you should go to the doctor for your back. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, well, I don't have jury duty tomorrow, so maybe I'll go. And she was like, you're on jury duty? I was like, Yeah, Mom, I've been on jury duty for like 5 weeks. And she goes, "You didn't tell me that you were on a jury." And I was like, "Mom, I have been on the Karen Reed jury for 5 weeks." And she was
Or
like,
like
"Oh
over
my
a year.
God." Yeah, this is my second trial, Mom.
Yeah. I've been called back to jury duty.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I feel bad because I believe those people are well intentioned. I'm not as harsh as 3G is on them. 3G's really put his foot down, like fuck all these people that believe this dumb stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he's married to one.
He is. Yeah, I don't know. It's
what's
the
funny
warden's
about my
birthday today,
mom,
by the
though,
way.
is
Is
it?
Yeah. I don't know what
What'd you
she's
get her,
doing,
Mike?
raising funds to trans toddlers. I don't know what they're doing today, but no. So happy birthday to her. They come in all forms.
Yes,
we have to love them no matter what. You know what I mean?
We do. We can't choose our family, Mike.
No.
And we can have differing opinions and still get along. In fact, Mike, I was thinking about this today because I've had a flurry of new followers on Twitter recently because of
Karen Reed?
because of posting about Karen Reed. My Karen Reed posts are getting just like a ton of traction. It's just such a big case anyway. But people who have like blue waves in their profile or like the Ukraine flag and are just the Ukraine and the rainbow flag. People who 7 months ago would have never in a million years followed somebody on X called MAGA Barbie. Like they would have never done it in a million years. But
you have MAGA Barbie in your name.
Yeah, but this case has like bridged the gap between people who honestly, I think, and I'm one of them, thought I don't have a single thing left in common with these lunatics on the other side. Like they don't seem to be living in the same reality. So to see this case bridging that gap of like, okay, we can all still at the end of the day recognize what the fuck's going on here. And it bridges the gap,
It's the Candace Owens effect.
100%. Yes, totally. Right? Yep.
Where if those people go, wow, because that's what's happening with Candace. If they go, wow, she's really reasonable in her discussion about this, what else is she reasonable about?
Right.
Because the fact is you are reasonable. You're not insane.
Right. Scott says free Karen Reed. And yes, I also love seeing how bipartisan the case is. It is refreshing.
Which, Scott, is kind of rare. Honestly, we're seeing cases go down. Like we've seen them go down race lines before, obviously.
Right.
But going down political lines is really weird. Yes. That's really weird.
It is weird. It is weird because usually you've got one side. I was accused for the very first time ever. I mean, my name on X is MAGA Barbie. I was accused of being a pink-haired, cop-hating communist.
Cool.
Because I think Karen Reed is innocent. And so, I think traditionally in cases like this, it tends to be a little bit more black and white, no pun intended. But in terms of, we can see a cop was just doing his job in the line of duty. And the other side sees it as a cop targeting an unarmed black man. And then nobody agrees on anything. But this case, it's like, this is so blatantly obvious. Like, it's so blatantly obvious that we're all just kind of starting from the same point of, this is bullshit. And then, when you have one thing in common, like you said, okay, that person can be reasonable. They can think things through. And maybe, just maybe, I should listen to them on other things, I think that that's a good thing. That's
what was the Candace Owens ones was pop culture related. That was the Blake Lively.
That was Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And she tried to recently drop her emotional damages lawsuit against him because I think she realized I actually don't want to go through discovery. That doesn't sound super fun, and I don't want to lose my friendship with Taylor Swift, and I think I maybe messed up. I did not read the room.
Yeah, these people that much like the Commonwealth thought this goes under the radar. We can behave how we want and move along. That's how a lot of these people think. When you think about the uber wealthy, privileged Hollywood society, why would they think that would be any different? They're
right.
When you look at the details of the Diddy stuff, and it's like, oh, the Beverly Hills whatever hotel, and it's like, really, you don't think they were aware and letting this go on? Think about it. You get a little loud, have a few cocktails, and get a little loud in your hotel room.
Yeah,
they're knocking on your door, kicking you out. He's having fucking gangbang orgies at the Beverly Hills whatever, or the Chateau Marmont, wherever the hell they are, and it's like they're not aware of it. No, so why wouldn't you think you can get away with whatever you want? Same thing with Blake Lively. Like, oh, I'll just do this and scare people away, and now people are paying attention.
Yeah,
and
everybody loves me. I'm America's sweetheart. I'm married to Ryan Reynolds. Everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Nobody knows who the fuck this guy is. Justin Baldoni. There's no way they're gonna. I'm besties with Taylor Swift. There's no way people are gonna go against me. And then she
sounds
was
like Taylor Swift isn't returning calls either, or texts.
Right. And in the Diddy trial, I'm pretty sure one of the security guards from the hotel where that Cassidy event happened, Diddy paid him $100,000 for the video. But then like called him on like Easter or some random holiday. Not that Easter's a random holiday, but it called him on like Easter and was like,
day of visibility, day of visibility.
That one. And he was like, God has put you in my life like for a reason. I was like, what? How fucking weird would that be? Diddy to the security guard. Yeah. Like just called him out of nowhere.
Yeah. Probably knowing this was coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's going to be tied? Yeah. I tried reading a story today, and they're like, this bodyguard went through this, and this guy saying, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I know what all of you got into.
100%.
I've been to a couple of these parties. I've seen how you people behave. I don't give a shit. Yeah. You're not here against your will. You all thought this was hilarious and fun,
right?
And
you were making good money at the time.
Yeah.
You were meeting famous people. You were flying on private jets. You were going to concerts. You were staying at nice hotels. You were eating great food.
Yep.
Unless you were being held against your will, I don't have a ton of sympathy for grown adults who
consenting grown adults.
And then now they're like, oh, yeah, I did do all that. I did know all about
this
that.
guy was like, it's some gay male something or other. Like he was just a man whore. He was like you can order like the ones out of a lot of them out of Atlanta. You go get the whore chicks and you pay them top dollar. Those exist. Well, there's man versions that they were ordering from too. And hearing this guy's like pulling on your heartstrings again, like the way Cassie was treated. And I'm just like, shut up, man whore. What are you talking about? You flew first class to New York to go to a fuck party. And now you're making comments like, I started to talk to Cassie. And she was like, wait, he's not in the room. Wait till he gets back before saying another word. And I knew she was under Diddy's control. I'm like, and
then
so
when you
whore.
And then when you landed in your private jet that he flew you on, when you got home, you didn't call the fucking police and let them know what you were seeing. You didn't try to stop it. So like, that's the thing, I would have a lot more respect for you if you got on the stand and you're like, honestly, I didn't think it was a problem at the time. Yeah. But I look back on it now and it was a problem. And I should have said something. And this is what I saw, but like, I just don't know the whole thing of like, oh, I knew something was wrong and I just wanted to be there for her. And it's like, no, fuck you. Yeah. Because guess what? If I knew that somebody that was even just a little bit part of my life who was being dragged down hallways and sexually abused, I promise you I would do something about it. I wouldn't just be like, okay.
Yeah. No, that you're taking the money, and now that it's coming to light, now you're putting up this like, feel for me too. I'm a victim too. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. I want to feel like, oh, wow, nobody should be disrespected or treated this way. But it's like, I don't know. When you're talking about Hollywood people, music industry, like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. You guys run roughshod over all of us.
Right.
In any way you see fit.
Yeah.
You're coddled too. Why wouldn't you think you can get away with anything? Oh, he had control over you. Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And I think that was the culture in the Massachusetts State Police. You know, they just thought
easy one.
You know, easy one. They thought she did it. They didn't want to look any further. And, you know, I firmly believe planted evidence to strengthen their case. And, you know, today on the stand was the snowplow driver for that night. His name is Lucky Loughran. Cutest guy. Like, he's just like this, I don't know, he's probably in his 50s maybe. Drives a snowplow called Frankentruck because it's like all put together with like random parts.
Sure.
And he was assigned to plow Fairview Road on the night that John O'Keefe allegedly died. You know, it was this huge snowstorm. And Lucky Loughran grew up in Canton. He grew up with all of the Alberts. He used to work at the pizza shop that the Alberts own. He graduated with them. He used to deliver pizzas to 34 Fairview every Sunday when they would have their family get-togethers. So he's familiar with that house in particular on Fairview Road. He knows who lives there. He knows what kind of cars they drive. You know, so he's familiar with that area.
I get it.
So he's plowing, and he's plowing that night. And you know, when you're plowing and there's a car in the road, you're supposed to call it in, and the police are supposed to come and tow it.
Issue a ticket or tow it.
Yeah, because it can't be in the way of a plow. So Lucky, he drives down 34 Fairview, or he drives down Fairview. He passes by 34 Fairview. His lights, he's got all these lights on Frankentruck. We saw pictures of Frankentruck today.
Yeah, we've all seen those trucks.
Yeah, but he says he goes by there at like 2:30 in the morning, doesn't see a body on the lawn. Comes by again at like 3:30 in the morning, doesn't see a body on the lawn. Does his third pass by on Fairview, and he sees a Ford Edge parked right in front of the house, right by the flagpole where John's body was originally found. And it stuck out to him because he had to go around it. And he said, I didn't call it in because I knew the Alberts. I knew what kind of cars they drove, and I didn't want to give them a ticket in the middle of the night. So I didn't call it in. So I just went around it, and you know, whatever. And then the next time he went by, all the cops were there. And so, you know, then it turns out the cops never went and talked to him. Michael Proctor never went and talked to him until
I remember him being on the stand saying he didn't see a body when he was plowing. Was that from the previous trial?
He did say it in the previous trial, but
okay.
They brought him back.
I remember that.
Too. Yeah. So, Karen said she thinks her case is going to be done on Tuesday. And then I bet the state puts on a couple days rebuttal and then probably closing arguments. So,
well, if we get together, we'll do a live show.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, I'll come over to you, or we can, I don't know, figure something out.
Yeah. Or we could,
because I will be in the area.
I could
sit there next to you. I'm sure Trav could rig something up for us to have a second mic and watch it. Or you can do it without me because all
Miggy
about
can give you face kisses.
Yeah, I love face kisses. That's my favorite. Yeah, I'm dreading being away from Cease. Dreading it. It's gonna suck so bad not having her with me. Yeah, these entitled people that are used to getting their way, saying what they really feel, you know, like whether it's the Diddy case or I really think, you know, these guys that have this level of power, the Commonwealth, this kind of community family feel with cops, you know, you can see how that would lead you to believe you're almost untouchable. You know, I admit there was feelings of that in the Drew and Mike show where, you know, we didn't abuse it to some radical level, but you knew just because of the power of the ratings and how much money was involved that, yeah, you could kind of get away with whatever. Yeah, you could. And not that we did, but you just kind of weren't playing by rules of, you're just so-and-so. Like, cops treated you different. And it's really easy to fall into that, especially, it's easy to fall into feeling kind of those feelings. Like, I look at the Trevor Bauer. Did you see him, the former Dodgers pitcher? He won a lawsuit against his false accuser. He's still out of Major League Baseball. Wasn't he like the ace on the Dodgers? Yes. Wasn't he like in Major League Baseball? He was like their screwball.
Yeah.
Like, it's so he won a lawsuit against the one who falsely accused him of sexual assault back in 2021. Lindsey Hill ordered to pay $310,000 for violating a settlement agreement a couple years ago. So Judge Daniel Crowley awarded Bauer $220,000 for Hill's 22 versions of violations of the earlier agreement to not, basically, neither of them could say if someone was paid in this. So it was just basically shut up. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of a non-disclosure thing, because that eludes stuff. Like, if you are able to go out and go, well, he didn't say he was guilty, but he paid me $2 million.
Right.
So it's like, you know what? Neither of you can discuss whether you were paid, how much you were paid, if you were paid at all. Yeah. So
the terms of the terms of the settlement are confidential.
Yes. And that matters. So if you found 22 violations of that, that means she wouldn't shut up to 22 different times telling people this. So that was $68,000 in $220,000 for those violations, almost $69,000 in attorney's fees, close to $67,000 in interest, another $5,000 in additional cost for just about $310,000. So his agent, Rachel Luba, made clear that the only money ever exchanged between Bauer and Hill will be the $309,000 in damages Hill will need to pay Bauer. So to sum it up, Lindsey Hill has now been ordered to pay Bauer and has been arrested and is being charged with assault and abuse with an outstanding warrant for her arrest. Bauer's other false accuser is currently being charged with committing fraud against him. And most importantly, Bauer has never been arrested, charged with a single crime, or paid a cent to an accuser.
Wow. He should sue MLB next. That's what the fuck he should do.
Totally. So she was arrested in April for multiple offenses, including third-degree assault of an EMS official, public so she's shit-faced, driving on a suspended license, disorderly conduct, and animal cruelty. She became shit-faced at a restaurant, started acting like a hot chick who's drunk and became violent. She was arrested, placed into a cop car, attempted to break the divider, and then she had an emergency medical situation.
Sure,
when EMS came to treat her. Yeah, can't breath probably.
Yeah,
she assaulted those officials, and then the animal cruelty offense came from her leaving her dog inside a hot car with no wah-wah.
Oh, is the dog okay?
I think he's all right, but
all right.
You just can't do that.
No. Guilty.
Yeah. So
I also really want to see the body cam footage of that arrest, because I can imagine, you know how they put, there's body cam channels and stuff. Drew watches them on his channel. Like, he'll watch, funny body cams. I'd love to see that one. I bet it's a fucking disaster.
Oh yeah. Well, it's an entitled hot chick.
100%.
I guarantee that's what that video
is. She
spazzing out.
She asked for her dad or her mom.
Yep.
She said she couldn't breathe. She said the handcuffs were too tight. She said, I didn't do anything. I'm going to sue you. I have a lawyer. Those are some things I bet that she said.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Could be one.
I settled with Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
The violation.
When he released the text messages she sent to her friends, and I'll read some of them to you, before she even met him, and shows you what these guys go through. I knew a player who went through something similar on the Lions and was extorted for, I think he ended up giving her $10,000. And I remember going, dude, are you fucking nuts? Her friends were even telling him she's lying about this. And he was just like, yeah, I don't care. Just fuck off. Make her go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of these guys do that. I had a night, I banged a chick I probably shouldn't have.
Now she's fucking crazy.
Now she's being crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, 10 grand is not much. I'll write her a check and make her just go away. I'm done with her.
Right.
So she says to one of her friends, next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. She sent that to a friend before she even met him.
Victim.
What should I steal? Huh?
She said victim.
Victim. Yeah.
That is brutal.
Brutal.
Oh my God.
What should I steal? She asked another friend in reference to visiting my house for the first time. This is what he posted. The answer that came back, take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday. She said, then I already have my hooks in him. You know how I roll. Tough guy, cool chick, hot chick. Then after the first time we met, he says, she wrote, net worth is 51 mil. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how was she going to do that? Bauer continued. Need daddy to choke me out. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another. Then after the second time they met, former San Diego Padres pitcher, asshole, Jacob Nix told her, you got to get that bag. I'll give you 50 grand. I'll give you 50 grand, she replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty about any of this? Not really.
Jesus.
So all this has come out. The MLB suspended him at the time for 324 days. So that's 2 full years.
Yeah.
162 game season.
Yep.
Times 2.
In like the prime of his career.
Absolutely. So he played in the Mexican Baseball League and won Pitcher of the Year in 2024. He now plays in Japan.
Hey, Tigers, sign him.
Are you listening?
Sign him.
Yes.
What the fuck? Why not? He didn't do anything. He's never been arrested.
No, never even been charged.
Listen.
He fell into that window of Me Too. Believe all women.
Yeah, he did. And there's just something to be said for picking your hose properly. You got to do some vetting. Okay? And you just have to. They've got to, listen, without getting into any names, I was young once, and I have been in situations where I've been around athletes and I've been in their place. I've been, obviously before I was married, before Rocky, and when I was in college, but never once did I go through anything. Did I ever have a thought of stealing anything? Was I texting my friends going, what should I steal? That was to the contrary. I was always like, I will pay for my, knowing full well that they were going to pay for whatever it was, a dinner or whatever. I'll pay for, I'll pay for my own. I don't want you thinking that that's what this is all about.
Why I'm here.
Exactly. It's just tacky. And it's just not the way. It's just not the way to be. You got to be a down ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? You can't be this high.
And they know that,
right?
They know the difference between absolute just Play-Doh, just some whore to stick something in, and ones that you would have around your buddies or have around your family.
Yeah.
They know, they're not stupid.
Yeah. I do remember one time we were sitting in the family section. I think it was in Cleveland at a Indians-Tigers game. And me and my best friend, Ashley, we were sitting in the family section, and we were told by the person who had gotten us the tickets, because we had gone out the night before, and now we were sitting in the family section with the wives and stuff. And it was told to us in no uncertain terms, we don't really talk about what happens when we go out when we're in the family section. Just FYI.
Yeah.
What happened?
Do you think people looked at you like, oh, wow, look at this cute college blonde?
100%. And I knew it. And I was aware of it. And because now when I'm at the games and I look into the family section, I'm like, oh, I see. I see what's the funniest was there were players, and I'm trying to think of one who did this. It'll come to me. I'll think of it. God, was it Brennan Bosch? No, I don't think so.
I
It was somebody. No, it was I think it was Porcello. I think it was Rick Porcello. Yeah.
Rick Porcello?
He
Pitcher?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. He brought like 3 chicks to the same game. So like they're
you shouldn't have said his name.
I think that's who it was. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, they brought like they were just like 3 random, then sat them next to each other, and it was like, oh, that's who you're here. Hey, I'm here for him. Hey, I'm here for him. And it was
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. But young guys, for sure.
Young guys with money and talent, like they're gonna hang out with hot chicks. Like,
and I'll tell you something. Like, I preferred to not sit in the family section back in the day. I preferred sit me in the host section. Yeah. Sit me with somewhere else, because being in the family section when you're not family and the families know who you are, that you're not family, it's just awkward.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, we were I think it was the same trip. We were in Cleveland, and we were leaving the hotel, and we were waiting outside for our car to be pulled around. And my friend Ashley had left her phone in the room, like one of the
hotel room.
Yeah, but we were staying at the hotel where the team was staying. Mm-hmm. So we're standing there in our club clothes from the night before, like essentially walk of shaming it, in the front of this very nice hotel in downtown Cleveland, standing there in our club clothes. And we don't have keys because we were staying like with people. So Ashley's like, I don't have my phone. So she has to like finagle her way back into the room, into the hotel. All the families are walking around because it's like family day. I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday morning for sure. So all the families are like walking around, and we're just standing there in like our club outfits. And I was like, fucking get me out of here.
Yeah, get me out of here. That's how I'd feel too.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't mean to sully Rick Porcello's name. It might not have been him, but it was somebody.
It was Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
Bringing all his hoes with him. Hey, did you see what the Pentagon plans to rename the USNS Harvey Milk?
Yeah, I saw that.
The Navy ship.
Yeah.
A late gay rights leader. He was assassinated, I believe. San Francisco guy.
Yeah.
Harvey Milk. And they're reviewing the names of a class of ships named after Black and Hispanic civil rights leaders and prominent women. The Harvey Milk is named after Navy veteran and San Francisco politician, assassinated in 1978. There's no timeline for the renaming or what it'll be, when it'll be, anything like that. The Navy referred all comments to Pete Hegseth's office, which only provided a brief statement. Secretary Hegseth is committed to ensuring that the names attached to all DoD installations and assets are reflective of the Commander-in-Chief's priorities, our nation's history, and the warrior ethos. Any potential renaming will be announced after internal reviews are complete. Officials say other ships under review include the USNS Thurgood Marshall. I think the problem was it never arrived in port on time. It was always late. And the problem with the Harvey Milk was they couldn't get it to stop dock. It was constantly docking.
Yes.
Everywhere they went. And they were just like...
Docking is...
the insertion of one man's glands into the foreskin of another's. He was the first African-American... Dude, this is petty.
Petty spaghetti. Tell me about
it. Yeah, that's what this is. He was the first Black dude to serve on the Supreme Court. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Also, they're taking a look at that name, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's way long in the tooth. They need to replace that one altogether, but it refuses to retire, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think it's a problem with that one. There's also the Harriet Tubman, named for the woman who helped slaves escape to freedom in the 19th century. A few others. The decision by the Trump administration to change the names of the Harvey Milk and other ships in the John Lewis class is a shameful, vindictive erasure of those who fought to break down barriers for all to chase the American dream, said Nancy Pelosi. Our military is the most powerful in the world, but this spiteful move does not strengthen our national security or the warrior ethos. Instead, it's a surrender of a fundamental American value to honor the legacy of those who work to build a better country, blah, blah, blah. Pre-Obama, these ships, they focused on presidents, they focused on battles, and they focused on states. And then Obama changed all that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what you're dealing with.
Why don't we how about we have we do a renaming convention every so often. And the people who are active in the military at that time get to vote on what the names are. Like whoever means the most to them at that time. Maybe it's, Harriet Tubman, maybe it's Harvey Milk, maybe it's Donald Trump, who the fuck knows. But let's maybe, we can, that way we can keep it fresh and then we don't have to worry about all this. Like if we just have every 25 years we rename the ships.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Although I kind of look at it like, the SS Reagan is what it is. The SS,
Yeah, but that ship doesn't last forever, does it? It eventually goes out of commission, right?
Yeah.
So then do you have to name the next one the SS Reagan, or can we just maybe it's something else?
Name it something else. So it's rare for the Navy to change the name of a ship. 2 years ago, the Navy renamed the SS Chancellorville and the Maury based on a congressional commission's recommendation to remove names linked to the Confederacy. So the Chancellorville was renamed Robert Smalls after a former slave. And the Maury became the Marie Tharp, named after a pioneering female oceanographer. The announcement follows a flurry of activity by Pentagon leaders to end what they say is woke military that's too focused on DEI. Hegseth fired some officers that he thinks were DEI hires. They set out to eliminate or restructure the courses at the U.S. Naval Academy, West Point, that had to do with racial, gender, or alphabet mafia issues. Books were removed from libraries, and they're also under review. Obama's big emphasis was, these kind of racial, that was his big thing, was diversity. And so there's a lot of people that took offense at the time. Like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We all know. Great. And so turnabout is fair play, I guess. Like, that's not the way things were usually done. And then this guy came into office and all of this shit got a free pass into that stuff. Is it petty? Yeah, it is. But I think it's making a point too. And when you talk about petty, don't think this is like a Trump thing, for the record. Okay, so there was a petition. They wanted to rename a block of Fifth Avenue in New York City between 56th and 57th Streets to President Barack H. Obama Avenue. The block right in front of Trump Tower. Okay, specifically, they could have picked any block in America. He's not from New York City. That's called petty as well. Right? Trying to force that shit. So, as for Harvey, what's that?
No, go ahead.
As for Harvey Milk, he was the first openly gay elected official in California, has been the subject of accusations regarding banging minors back in the day. So he at 33, what's that?
Sure.
Yeah. He started a relationship with Jack McKinley back in the 1960s. McKinley was a 16-year-old runaway.
How old was Harvey?
33.
This sounds like the Macrones.
A little bit. No, the Macrones was worse.
Yeah.
49
he was 14.
and 14. 49, 14. It's a little worse than 33,
49?
16. Yeah, she was 49.
Way.
Yeah, look it up. I'm almost positive.
It was?
Yeah, I think.
I thought it was 39.
I think what's his name again? The husband of Macron, Brigitte. I think Brigitte. He was 49 at the time he started sleeping with 14-year-old Macron.
Oh wait.
It's either 39 or 49. I swear it's 49.
Yeah, 39 when they met, and he was 15.
14, but,
Yeah, 14. That's
we're
insane.
Close. So they start, but I love the way they do this. The relationship with McKinley, Jack McKinley and Harvey Milk lasted about 5 years. And McKinley was over the age of consent, 16, in most U.S. states. Does that make it okay? Well, McKinley later struggled with substance abuse, died by suicide after their relationship ended. Critics have pointed to this relationship as evidence of predatory behavior, claiming Milk targeted vulnerable youth. You can see how you could make that argument. The 1960s and 70s were marked by a more permissive counterculture, particularly in the Castro district there in San Francisco, where Milk lived. Some argue the relationship with age gaps were not uncommon during this period, his actions not considered predatory. Critics argue the age difference and McKinley's vulnerability as a runaway teen raise ethical concerns regardless of legal consent. There's also other young people, too, that maybe have just barely of age, 17, 18, that also... So people have called him a pedophile. I am not one typically to judge how things were done in previous generations. Like I don't like it when some blue-haired mafia wants to yank down statues of former presidents, trying to hold them to standards that of today and apply it to the late 1800s or early 1900s, and not I think you can get further down the road with a plaque explaining like, hey, there's controversy about these figures, but these are figures throughout history. And Harvey Milk's assassination was a big deal in 1978 in San Francisco.
But was Harvey Milk in the Navy?
Yes.
Navy. Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was at one point.
Well,
and he was
I don't
a
have
congressman.
as much of an issue with it then.
Yeah, but critics will come out and be like, "Oh yeah, he was a pedophile." Like, yeah, but that doesn't take into context the reality of the gay civil rights time that was going on in America in the 60s.
Yeah, there's literally a pedophile as the first woman,
lady.
Wife of France.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Spare me the righteous indignation, if you will.
Yeah, no one wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Take away the fact that it used to be a man and that whole circus. Take that right out.
Right.
No, you have a 40-year-old with a 14-year-old, and no, we don't even discuss that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
And speaking of DEI, Mike, did you see that the Michigan president left Michigan to go be the president at the University of Florida?
Really?
And so he left, he resigned from Michigan, went down there, and then the I don't know, the board of governors or whatever, board of governors for Florida, University of Florida, because of his DEI policies and history at Michigan, voted against him, and he's not going to be the president at Florida now. So now he's
that's too bad.
Yeah, now he's out of a gig. Santa Ono.
Oh, that sucks. So, wow, they wouldn't have figured that out before he quit his gig, or was he removed at U of M?
No, he wasn't removed, but it says they reversed their hiring decision over DEI. I guess they got backlash once they announced they were hiring him. They got backlash over the pick from conservatives in Florida, and so then they voted and reversed it.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. It's awful. Poor guy.
Sucks to suck.
Poor guy. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I was reading a story. I thought of your mom, actually, when I was reading this story. I find your mom popping into my head from time to time as I'm reading the news. Like, I wonder what she thinks of this. Florida high school students were drilled for being straight, asked to consider being gay, and told that straight people are to blame for overpopulation. According to a course materials, this was obtained by the Daily Wire. I don't know. I think there's further context to this, but I still have a problem with it. Students were assigned to complete a sexually focused questionnaire that asked a series of bizarre questions. We'll get to those in a moment. I'll get your opinion on these questions. Parents were shocked to learn that a professor made their children answer questions like this as part of a Miami-Dade college course being offered to high schoolers. The course is called Preparing for Student Success. Don't worry, we're almost done.
No. I'm just trying to get comfortable. I'm listening.
Preparing for Student Success was designed for students to develop academic goals and come up with strategies to succeed in college, and offered in Miami-Dade County, an area that has turned red in recent years. It's not normal. Imagine if anyone gets close to your son and asks some of these questions. I'd call the police, one mom said. It's perversion. Why are you talking about their sexuality to a 15-year-old boy or girl? It's absolutely sick. The questions come from the textbook Power: Strategies for Success in College and Life by Robert Feldman, senior researcher at UMass Amherst. After being contacted, Miami-Dade said that it had reviewed the assignment and determined, we're not going to use this anymore. It seems like you wouldn't have to go that far. If you're, if it's even questionable,
right?
Like, how does it even get there? I don't know.
I don't even understand.
I don't remember any class where it was like, oh boy, I hope my mom and dad don't find out what we were talking about today in class. Right. I don't ever remember that even being a thing.
Right.
Miami-Dade is committed to maintaining a safe, respectful, academically sound learning environment for all students in response to concerns, blah, blah, blah. We have conducted a thorough review. It will no longer be used. Questionnaire was adopted from the work of Martin Rochlin, a gay rights activist and founding member of the Gay and Lesbian Center of L.A., who developed the heterosexual questionnaire in 1972. Seems like questionnaires like that maybe would have been fitting in 72. And again, I'll get the questions to you in a second here. The concerned mother whose son was forced to take the quiz said the questionnaire was included in the textbook as means of indoctrination. I don't know if I'd say that, but still. She noted that dual enrollment classes are typically recommended for students looking to receive Florida's Bright Futures Scholarship, a lottery-funded scholarship for top-performing high school academic achievers. She also voiced concern about another questionnaire featured in the textbook on its chapter on diversity. One encouraged students to determine the diversity of their campus by getting statistics of how many racial minorities attended their school, while another encouraged them to check your stereotype quotient. That includes questions like, if you found out that a star pro player is gay, would you be surprised? Well, it depends on the sport, but yeah. Pro football player. Would you be surprised if you found out a pro football player was gay?
No.
No. I assumed that there's a percentage just like in society.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just so here's the questionnaire. Read and consider each of the following questions. What do you think caused your heterosexuality, Ames?
What caused my heterosexuality?
If you're heterosexual. I don't think I've ever asked you.
Just being me.
When and how did you decide you were straight? I wouldn't answer that question. If someone asked me that in a high school.
Yeah, that's what's crazy is that this is being asked to high schoolers. That's insane. I would like to know my mom's thought about this.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is inappropriate.
Is it possible that being straight
didn't really happen? That didn't really happen. Who's reporting that? I envision that's probably what my mom said. There's no way.
No, here's why I think it's more of a test, like kind of a gotcha to be shocking on purpose.
Yeah.
Is it possible being straight is just a phase you may grow out of? Is it possible your heterosexuality stems from a neurotic fear of others of the same sex? To whom have you disclosed your straight tendencies? So you're getting a glimpse of these questions. So what are your reactions to this questionnaire? What assumptions does the questionnaire make about your sexuality? What do your reactions tell you about assumptions you hold about what others are like? And then here's the kicker. substitute the label homosexual and gay for each occurrence of heterosexual and straight in the questionnaire, and read through it again. How have your reactions changed?
Jesus.
So then you could see it's one of those like, oh, what do you think caused your homosexuality? What and how did you decide you were gay? Like, if those were the questions, would that change your reaction? To me, what does it matter? Like, honestly, and this is where your mom comes in, like, no one ever discussed any of this shit in school. We all figured out how to bang. We all figured out who we were attracted to. I don't understand these people that are like, oh, my course is just showing, people that are, disenfranchised, how to use sex toys like dildos and male on male sex toy. It's like, yeah, that's not your place, weirdo. Just like we all figured out how to use that stuff if we wanted. We did that without help from our high school teacher.
Exactly. Like, that's
just creepy as shit.
Yes, there is something inherently creepy about some stranger teaching your kid about sex.
On any level.
Yeah, and,
male, female, anything.
Someone's like, well, what if their parents don't teach them about it? Then how are they going to learn? Well, this thing called the internet. That's how they're going to learn. They're going to pick up a fucking Google machine, and they're going to Google sex, and they're going to figure it out. They don't need their creepy-ass teacher asking them weird sexual questions. Like, to what end? For what purpose? For what fucking purpose do you have to go through this weird thought exercise and gather all this information? Like, what? To use it for what?
Yeah.
And what are the people benefiting from who are taking it? What are they getting out of it?
And what are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to like introduce this? Like, first off, kids in high school already know what they need to know for the most part. And
yes, they do.
To your point,
high school,
it's all on the internet. Like, so there's no, like, I don't know what you think, unless the point is to soften it and try and like make degenerative behavior earlier in life. Like, I don't know. It just seems, it seems like the best way forward. Like, and I failed miserably at this. Miserably. I started early and never stopped and like was a degenerate shitbag. Like, it's not great. I'm not proud of it now. It is what it is. But in the ideal situation, I think we can all agree, like, finding the right person is probably smart, probably leads to healthier relationships, probably, like, in an ideal world, that's probably the way you would like your children to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to be a prude. I certainly didn't follow that. But, looking back as I get older, it's like, why would you want to soften, like, with kids, this idea of like, how many partners have you had? Like, doesn't that just kind of further the discussion of like, wait, you haven't had any gay partners yet? You haven't had any straight partners yet? Oh, okay, that's cool too. But wow, we thought your answer was going to be 5 or 6 by now. I mean, you are 15.
Right.
Like, what are you trying to get them to when you're asking these questions? The obvious is like, yeah, you probably, like, my whole life anyways, my whole existence, everything I knew was like, you're trying to like keep kids on a road and not encourage that type of behavior. But when you introduce that conversation casually to children, my guess is they're going to inquire more. They're going to discuss more, like, and it's going to seem like it's it's normal. Like, it's normal. We're in 4th grade. So we're like, they gave us the nuts and bolts, the basics, birds and the bees, if you will, in 5th grade. Remember, the older kids told us that Mr. Green was going to bang Mrs. Connolly on the desk. And that's like, I remember thinking, we're going to see Mr. Green, 6'4" of him, God knows what he was packing, was going to just plow Mrs. Connolly, the 6th grade elementary school teacher, in front of us.
Yeah.
And instead, it was just the most uncomfortable, hour of school ever.
Yeah.
Like, horrible. I don't know if it, you're quite a few years younger than me. Maybe that changed. Maybe they started introducing you to that shit earlier.
No. The only thing that we did was like, we had like egg babies. we had to have without like breaking them.
Yes, I remember that. That was, I think, in middle school, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah, I can't remember if that. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe, which
Health
is weird.
class.
Which is weird. If you think about it, isn't that weird? Like, we're learning how to take care of a fucking baby right now. Why?
Yeah, that was part of, if I'm not mistaken, health class. It was like there was like home ec and health. Like half the semester was health class where you had to do the egg baby thing, keep it, just not break it for a week.
Yeah, you couldn't break it. But then we also started getting like actual baby dolls, like that would pee and wake up and cry, and then you'd have to stick a fake bottle in its mouth, and it would record the results, and it would report it back to the teacher. Like that's weird for a public school.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it supposed to be a deterrent? I guess.
I don't know. That's a great question. Like, what was the point of that?
If you're using it as a deterrent, and then out of the other side of your mouth saying that you have to teach them about sex ed, like, how about you just don't address it at all?
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll be good.
Yeah. And you know what? For a millennia before that, everyone was fine. For a million years, literally, people figured it out. Believe it or not, they did figure it out. I don't know. If you had a kid, because I'll never have a kid, you're welcome, society. But for you probably will. I mean, what do you think right now? Like, you grew up with an administrator in the public school system, obviously went through it, like seeing everything that's going on. For the first time in my life, I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely homeschool a kid. I wouldn't even send 100%. Them to that factory. 100%. Like, I firmly believe that now. Like, I don't trust any of these people. They don't seem to be, I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah. No, I agree completely.
Do you think you and Rocky would send? Like, it's got to be hard, but I don't think I would.
At least not in like the younger years. Considering where I live, very good like high school area, that has a lot of opportunity in classes. So like I could see maybe in high school, but I don't know. Actually, probably not. Like, especially if it keeps going on this path. I mean, it just seems so insane to me.
There's news today. Trump's trying to strip $1 billion from NPR, PBS for, they're just done with this stuff. People are going ape shit about that. I mean, he kind of ran on that in part. Yeah. A lot of it, what's going on there. Some of it is talking about, they were talking about NPR and PBS spreading radical woke propaganda as news. A press release listed a number of stories, among them a 2015 report on the annual furry festival in Pittsburgh. Like, what are you doing? Why is PBS talking about the furry festival? That this is like PBS doing a story on the San Francisco Jacks.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Have you played this down the road? Like, what the furries are? Seriously, why are we even having an adult conversation about what is appropriate for, this is just a learning place. 2017 report on a book about cannibalism, a Valentine's Day report on queer animals. PBS produced a documentary that argued the case for reparations. The White House also expressed dissatisfaction that PBS had aired a documentary of transgender teenage boy, and that Sesame Street had partnered with CNN and held a town hall on Black Lives Matter, complaining it's a one-sided narrative. If you think it's not, you're nuts. I don't know what to tell you. First off, this is like arguing for the Pony Express or a landline right now, getting funding. It just is. We are not in a world, like, it made sense when you had 3 TV channels to have one for educational purposes, science purposes. Like, no, that's what these come off as. So people have these dreams of their childhood. When you had 2, 4, and 7 in Detroit and Channel 56 and, PBS local, like, you didn't have the internet yet. You didn't have all these things. They don't need the funding from us to do this stuff. And it's not I don't know. It just seems crazy to me that we're still having a discussion about this.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Sesame Street. What are you doing diving into Black Lives Matter on Sesame Street?
Right.
Fuck out of here. And do you think you can have a realistic conversation arguing the other side of what Black Lives Matter was pushing?
Right.
Do you think PBS would allow you, NPR would allow the counter argument? No. That's called indoctrination. Sorry, is what it is.
Right.
Is what it is. All right, let's get out of here. You look like you're dying on a vine. You can lay down at any point.
I'm about to.
You struggling?
Yeah.
I got to take the little guy. I'm taking him to dinner tonight. So,
oh, fun.
Yeah, his mom and Dee are gone for her birthday. So, all right. Cult leader and axe wound. You know what that's you.
Yes.
Like between your legs, someone took an axe and just
I got
whack.
it. Yep.
You get it?
I got it.
I just want to make sure. An hour and 45-minute episode and 29 minutes spent talking about some stupid trial. I care two things about this trial. Jack and shit. Nobody cares except Barbie Trump. Barbie Trump.
Sounds like you care.
And shocker that the axe wound is in a bad mood. Back hurts, PMSing, tired. Get used to it, Michael. Having a chick co-host will come with mood swings every 6 seconds.
6 seconds, huh? Yeah.
They're trying to hang on to your goat.
Oh, I've got my goat.
They do it to me. Okay, people want to know if there's going to be a meetup. I haven't planned anything.
The answer to that is no.
Yeah, probably not. You're in bad shape. I'm going to go do Drew's show at least once. I'm hoping twice. We'll see what his schedule allows for.
Well, let me know when you go over there, because I mean, if it's easier I can come when you're done and we can just knock out a show over there or something. I can drive out there. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd still like to hook up with you at some point, grab lunch, something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll text you. We'll figure something out. But yeah, I'm excited to come home, see some people, see family, if nothing more. And then hopefully Amy, even if I'm not available, will come on here. And if you see the thing go live and you care about the Karen Read trial as it's wrapping up probably next week, you should.
Maybe I'll go live for closing arguments.
Yeah, you should. Pause it, do all that stuff.
Yeah. And whoever just emailed in will be listening. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, they will. You have good takes. You're smart. It's fine. Yeah. Believe me. Do you think people have always liked the stories I've chosen over the years?
Oh, yeah. Stop. No, you're never. No. And trust me, you cannot hurt my feelings. Okay.
No. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Ames. And
safe travels, Mike.
Thank you. I'm excited. Is it sweatshirt weather there? Or are we like full on t-shirts?
It was 85 today.
Okay. Well, I looked at the weather and it was like 71. And I was like, oh, wow, it's cooler than I was expecting. So
it's going to be in the 70s and 80s when you're here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, of course, we might pop on and whatnot. But thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon. And thank you, Ames. Go get some rest, lay down, feel better.
All right.